Welcome to season 1 of Top Crop.
We found out that the ground is alive.
Trying to get done a little quicker and trying to simplify things a little bit.
You know, there's only so much money to go around. I look for big wins.
So we might as well talk about it anyway, right? Always trying something new. So we did something that we're out here looking at it that it's just not going to work for the year. I think I'll probably try it again, but it didn't work this year. So we had some wheat on some really light ground. It's a farmer rented. It's very light, very sandy. Kind of what you would call a wheat farm, you know. I usually don't have too much wheat, but we tried planting some beans into the wheat when the wheat was about, I don't know, about that big. Figuring that, you know, if the beans came up, which they did, that the wheat would just kind of shade them out and they would just kind of stall until harvest, take the wheat off. You know, hopefully then the beans would take off if they're so big. But it's so dry that most of them died. They emerged, they got about that tall, but a lot of them died. We just found a few in an area that has a little bit more moisture. There's a few green ones in there, you know, that guy. But he's on his way out, and there's not enough out here to where it'll be anything, you know, harvestable or anything like that. So yeah, not gonna work this year. Not to say we won't try it again, but it's not gonna work in these conditions. So the first year trying to plant beans into standing wheat, this year would be a negative. Not gonna work this year. We'll try again next year. We're gonna do a little jar test because I'm mixing a couple things that I haven't mixed before. I've learned through many screw-ups that jar tests, you know, everybody always says, well, do a jar test. And you always go, I'll be all right. You should do some jar tests when you're playing like this and putting different products together. So we've got a little different combination. So I'm gonna pull a little of this combination into, just gonna put it in a bucket. And then I'm gonna take a little of our 10-13-13 that we're gonna put in there and make sure everybody's happy. It's one big happy family in there. So that's what we're gonna do now, okay? Got our antique ladle that if Melissa knew I was using, she would have a fit. Does this look like a witch's brew? Okay, we got 2 of those. Oh, I didn't put the leg of frog in yet, and the cow's hair. That's got to go in yet, in the witch's brew.
Don't forget the goat whiskey.
All right. Okay, we're gonna do 3 of those. All right. So if you do your quick math, that is about 20% of the low, 25%. Let's see, 20, that's about 20%. So 3 of these, half of one of them would be what? Enough? It would be enough. I usually go a little stronger just to make sure that the stuff, the thing you're worried about, is okay. So, okay, I'm gonna let that sit just a moment while I clean something else out. What's this thing say on here? This is actually for cider. It says cider. It's a cider.
Looks like an expensive ladle.
And I don't know if you call that a ladle, but I bought it in an antique store for like, I don't know, $5. I thought, geez, that'd be great for jar tests. We're gonna take our other bucket slash jar
rinse.
Okay, so what we look for is separation. If you've got bad things going on a jar test, you'll get separation. You'll get things dropping out. And I can already see where I do not believe we're going to have any issue. That looks perfect. So, I believe we're going to have no issues. Charge forward.
We've really been fine-tuning our in-furrow program over the past couple of years and running some products that are really making a difference with this early season root growth. So we love our Pivot Bio, using that product #1, and then we're adding some things to not only feed that Pivot Bio, but feed the corn plant as well. So some sugar sources, a carbon source, just trying to get these little plants off to the best start we can get them.
Fungicide we're using is Veltima, because our 3rd year with it. It's been working great. There has been some tar spot already spotted in northern Ohio. Normally we've already flown all this corn, but we was able to wait until July 26th today. It's already past blister stage, starting to fill out already. We've been able to keep disease pressure away, and Veltima should protect us all the way through the rest of the season.
Hi everybody, my name is Shelby Fight and you're watching Top Crop. Today we're in Jackson Center, Ohio, and we're going to check on some corn plants that were planted at the end of April. We're in 30-inch rows. We will go to 20s at some point. The next planter will be 20s. Until then, we're making the most of 30s. Stand looks really good, spaced out really well. We were worried because the soil temps were a little bit cooler when we planted this, but everything came up. I am happy about it. Should I dig one up? This is a big one. I need a bigger shovel almost because I'm worried I'm gonna break some roots already. Should have brought a longer spade. She's a cutie. No. Look at those roots. Look at all this clay. So it's a little bit wet. We just had 1.5 inches of rain over the weekend, but you know, overall as I'm digging here, I'm happy with what I'm seeing. We've really been fine-tuning our in-furrow program over the past couple of years and running some products that are really making a difference with this early season root growth. So we love our Pivot Bio. We are using that product #1, and then we're adding some things to not only feed that Pivot Bio, but feed the corn plant as well. So some sugar sources, a carbon source, just trying to get these little plants off to the best start we can get them. We are planted at 28,000 here. This is a flex length hybrid, 112 day. So don't need to get it too high and just let those ears flex out. And when we come back later on the season, we'll be able to see some nice long ears. So we will do light tillage with field cultivator before we plant. We just you know, try to get some loose dirt and give this crop a nice seed bed to get started off in. Goals are, hopefully we get to 200. That'd be a good day. I was not optimistic when we planted late April and we got really cold. I was worried, but now it looks like it's, you know, kind of worked its way through that, and I think we've you know, really helped mitigate some of that stress early on with the in-furrow package. So we'll keep an eye on it. If we get some more stress throughout the season, we may consider a foliar application or a fungicide application, but we've given it a lot of good from the get-go. So I hope it continues to grow and we get some rain. You know, the past 2 weeks, we've had 1.5 inches of rain at 2 different times. So maybe a little bit more than we wanted, but we'll take it. You know, we got a lot of moisture out here now, which is good. So just letting the crop continue to grow. We've really been fine-tuning our in-furrow program over the past couple of years and running some products that are really making a difference with this early season root growth. So we love our Pivot Bio, using that product #1, and then we're adding some things to not only feed that Pivot Bio, but feed the corn plant as well. So some sugar sources, a carbon source, just trying to get these little plants off to the best start we can get them.
Fungicide we're using is Veltima, because our 3rd year with it. It's been working great. There has been some tar spot already spotted in northern Ohio. Normally we've already flown all this corn, but we was able to wait till July 26th today. It's already past blister stage, starting to fill out already. We've been able to keep disease pressure away, and Veltima should protect us all the way through the rest of the season.
Well, we call top cropper for me or corn, but you know, we do have beans. Couple years in now on our twin row beans. Got a planter that we bought used, and kind of like the looks of the twin row thing. So it's our 2nd year in. Really liking the way they're looking. We're heavily drought stressed, but they're dealing with it. The thing I like about it is that, you know, instead of 30-inch rows, right, we can get the plants spaced out better. You can also do that with an inner plant, but this way we still have our 30-inch row configuration, you know, just for wheel tracks and everything, right, and still get down them. And you know, even if we'd want to try to wide drop them, which we might, you know, we could get down them. So I don't think there'll be any reason to try to hold them back this year, you know, like with burning or you know, any kind of chemical or fertilizer burn that we might do sometimes, because they really aren't growing much because they haven't had any rain for a month, which kind of naturally makes them node shorter, which is what you want anyway, right? Maybe it'll start raining someday and the nodes will be shorter and we'll get them going. Well, let's just dig one up here. Like I said, even though it's really dry here, see if we can see what the roots are looking like. Well, we did put a PGR in furrow, and we'll decide if we're gonna do anything else, I guess. One thing I'm seeing that I don't know, when I dig something up, I like to see is all these little white hairs, you know. That's just healthy live roots. They're in dry soil there, but they're still, looks like they're still trying to take some stuff in. Kind of broke a lot off underneath there, but I don't know if that's going to show you much. What we're kind of trying to look for is our nodulation. Look at all them little nice white root hairs there. There's some of the nodules right, you know, right here. Wow, that's dry and it's getting pretty hard. So the roots are trying and they're nodulating. They could be nodulated more, but I think with the lack of the moisture and everything, these beans are pretty well, see there's a nice one there. They pretty well stopped doing much of anything until we get some moisture. So we're just hopeful we'll get a rain here sometime and get these things going. But the main thing I wanted to show is the spacing and getting the plants a little farther apart than we were able to do in a 30-inch row. So we're pretty happy with this system so far. I guess we'll see how the year turns out, and then we'll know. Right here is the stuff that grows inside of it. So this root. It's inside this tile. And what happens is that this just keeps a growing and a growing and a growing till it will actually plug that big old hole. And I'm sure just a little farther down, it's completely plugged. And this is what was creeping up into this section right here. It's just like hair. It's like you just kept putting your hair down the drain. Exactly. So you might say this is grass hair. It's just upside down. Watch your grass hair. Damn stuff. Yeah. We're draining though. That's the good thing. Okay. Hammered it.
Farmers deserve a nitrogen that works as hard as they do. One that stays with the crop until the job is done. It's time to turn to a better nitrogen with Pivot Bio.
Next probably will be a V10 Valtima application.
It's so much more than fungicide.
Goes above and beyond disease control.
Really like the BASF fungicides.
It's a stress mitigator. It's plant health. We have applied a toad on this farm, you know.
Done a great job for me.
Definitely money made.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely
See how green this still is?
That's right. It's never too early to be talking about a program anymore.
Farmers deserve a nitrogen that works as hard as they do. One that stays with the crop until the job is done. It's time to turn to a better nitrogen with Pivot Bio.
Hi everybody, I'm Shelby Fight. We're in Jackson Center, Ohio today, and you're watching Top Crop. We're out here in some of our first planted corn, planted on April 24th, and we're just really looking at these smaller plants, making sure our emergence is adequate, and we're gonna dig some early season roots and see what those are looking like as well. This was planted before a pretty cold snap, so we were on edge a little bit because we knew we were planting into some tougher conditions, but pleasantly surprised being out here. The stand looks like it's all there, and looks like it's off to a really good start. We got 1.5 inches of rain over the weekend, and we're just letting the sunshine on the crop and hopefully getting it off to a really good start. This radical root is gnarly. That's what I like to see coming out of that seed, feeding that little baby seed, making it grow. And we got some nice nodal roots coming too. Pretty good looking roots and some heavy clay. We have pretty high CECs. I think I would say 15 to maybe as much as 30. We're in some pretty tough clays. So we can hold a lot of nutrients, which is nice, unlike some other parts of the world where it's sandy and they have to apply lots and lots of amounts because they just can't keep it in the soil. Yeah, drainage is always the top priority. We cannot put enough tile in the ground. We're just in some pretty saturated dirt once we get a couple of rains, and it's hard to get the dirt dried back out so you can get a nice not clumpy, nice, well aggregated soil to plant into. So that's our biggest challenge by far, is just the dirt we have to farm in, but we try to manage it the best we can and install tile whenever we can. That's always number one on the list. Top priorities when we're choosing a hybrid is it's got to work with our nitrogen program. We are using a blend of 3 products up front broadcast. So we like the hybrids that like nitrogen a little bit on the earlier side because of that. So that's where our focus always starts. And then we'll look at maturity, we'll look at disease pressure and what that hybrid is rated on disease control. And I also look quite a bit at emergence, just because getting this stuff out of the ground is sometimes our biggest challenge. So I don't like to plant a lot of, kind of wimpy plants at these clays because emergence is a challenge here. We will vary. We like the racehorses on more of our well-drained soils, the ones with a little bit higher organic matter, but we get into some poorly drained stuff too, so they have to work in those poorly drained fields pretty well. I like those 112, 113 day racehorses, but also have you know, some 110 day and some things that'll work a little bit later on in some of our tougher clays when we can get on them. You know, tile is always number one on the list, but after that we focus on lime. If we can just kind of amend these soils a little bit, get some pores, get some oxygen down in them, anything we do to you know, just break up that layer underneath is what we try to focus on. And then, you know, after that we'll focus on pH, fertility, picking the right seed, and making sure, you know, we need a fungicide or whatever. So, you know, getting a whole systems approach, but tile is king. Come on, buddy, don't break off. It's got a long one. Look at that. Kind of a wimpier root system, but they are longer. Get all the things out of the dirt. Be a little scavenger. Our in-furrow program has been a big focus for us the last couple of years, just because we want to get those plants off into the best start we can. So we like our Pivot Bio. We are on our third season of Pivot Bio and really liking the results that hang around all throughout the season. But to give that Pivot Bio a little extra jolt of energy, we're using some sugar sources, some humics, and just really trying to feed not only that corn plant, but feed those microbes in that Pivot Bio as well, to get them to just produce as much nitrogen as they can for us. Put you back. See you when you grow up. We planted, I was back the next day and I was like, grow! Grow!
I hope everybody's excited for the season this year. It's getting time where we're wrapping up planting. But if anybody's got any questions for the show, feel free to leave us a comment and we'll try to get to everybody we can.
We've really been fine-tuning our in-furrow program over the past couple of years and running some products that are really making a difference with this early season root growth. So we love our Pivot Bio, using that product number one, and then we're adding some things to not only feed that Pivot Bio, but feed the corn plant as well. So some sugar sources, a carbon source, just trying to get these little plants off to the best start we can get them.
Fungicide we're using is Veltima, because our third year with it. It's been working great. There has been some tar spot already spotted in northern Ohio. Normally we've already flown all this corn, but we was able to wait until July 26th today. It's already past blister stage, starting to fill out already. Clearly we've been able to keep disease pressure away, and Veltima should protect us all the way through the rest of the season.
Farmers deserve a nitrogen that works as hard as they do, one that stays with the crop until the job is done. It's time to turn to a better nitrogen with Pivot Bio.